Welcome back to the channel. Okay, welcome back. We have to run it on back again. We spin the block this time. We spin the block. If you are new here, I'm Denise Brady. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist who specializes in helping people heal their inner child, trauma, and recovering from narcissistic. Did I get it right? Did I get it right? Relationships. Okay, so be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, hype this video. Okay, and turn your notification bells because you never want to miss one of my narcissistic videos. Now go ahead and give me a golden star in the chat because your girl has been practicing her dictation, her pronunciation of the word narcissistic. Man, don't take yourself so seriously. Have a little bit of fun. But I want to dig a little bit deeper about the generational patterns and how some men groom their sons to become them. Okay. And so as you're watching, I want you to reflect a little bit on your own relationship with your father, how there are parts of you who are like him, and how sometimes we try so hard not to become our parents, become our fathers, become our mothers, that we at times, I don't want to say hate, but dislike ourselves when those patterns and that repetition of what we grew up in, what we're trying to fight against, shows up. Okay, shows up. Now go ahead and hit that like button. Do all the do to support this channel. Now it was so interesting to me that when I started doing my research on this topic and I went on the Googles and I typed in Diddy Sons, only two showed up. I'm like, damn, ain't that something that Google does not recognize Quincy? Just Justin and Christian. Okay, I want y'all to go over there and hit Google and Google Diddy Sons to see how many of them actually pop up. Okay. But I want to explore how upbringing experiences really influence sons and how those different parts of fathers sometimes perpetuate unhealed trauma. And now we've been digging deep. We've been discovering things about ourselves. Some of y'all are learning about yourselves from your girl. Okay. But I can't take y'all to church again. So I'm going to need y'all to put that money in the collection plate. Hit me with some super chats. Okay. Hit some likes. Share the video. Okay. Now, Diddy is a father. His relationship with his sons are powerful examples of how generational patterns are formed. You're seeing right now generational patterns of how Diddy is, allegedly was. Do we even need to use allegedly? Are being poured into his sons. And I think a lot of people are not looking at that as a form of generational patterns. Okay. How his unhealed self, the grooming, the things he has done to other people, he's pouring that same generational stuff into his kids. Okay, primarily, Quincy and Christian. Not Quincy, Christian and Justin. Now I feel like Quincy is kind of like in the background, stays himself. I wonder how kind of how he's doing. Okay, but in this video, I want to look at how Diddy's childhood experience have shaped his how he parents, how his sons are influenced his legacy, and how do some of his sons got some court cases going on themselves? Once again, showing the same pattern that they were groomed into being is now showing up in their own lives. Look at the relationships that they have with women. Okay. And now we know Diddy grew up in a challenging environment. His early childhood experiences played a huge role. Some of y'all have said in the comments that y'all feel like Janice, who might be his aunt, his mother, I'm not quite sure, was she trying to beat out some of the sexual deviantness that some people might see as deviant, being a deviant? I don't personally, but how that old school way of thinking, I'm gonna pray it out of you, I'm gonna beat it out of you, I'm gonna take you to church, or maybe of you from back in the day, I'm gonna give you a good old exorcism. Okay. But from the rise of his name in the music industry, every step has been influenced with how he interacts with his children. And he's taking his children with him all along the way. Okay. All along the way. And it makes me wonder about the things they witnessed, they saw at a very early age. It's hard not to believe that his sons were not present during some of those parties, during some of the interactions with the women, with Kim, with Misha, with Cassie. A man so powerful probably felt like he never really had to hide some of that stuff. So if I ain't really gotta hide it from the people within my circle, I for sure am not about to hide it from my kids. This is a man raising men and showing them what it's like to be a man and have power over women. And ask yourselves in your own relations with your parents, with your father in particular, was he a cheater? Did he stay committed? Hey, some of y'all went on the excursion with the other women and you were taught to hold secrets. How old were you learning how to talk to your father, but withholding from your mother? Okay. How a lot of that patriarchal stuff. See, here we go again. Here we go. How a lot of that stuff shows up in your role now as an adult. But a lot of that patriarchy, we don't use that word, really poured into how you saw yourself as a boy and how Black men are forced to become, hey, little man. Who had the nickname little man? And when you got to a certain age, oh, it's not no more about them toys. You the man of the house. You got to have responsibilities at 11, at 12. Not to mention, some of y'all being raised by single parents, single mothers, you became her man. I don't know, maybe it's too early in the video for that one. Okay. But you became her man, her confidant, her little man. And why do we put that on little boys to be nicknamed little men? Little man. You're conditioned early on that you got to show up as a man all the time. None of that sissy shit, none of that soft shit. No, you got to be a man. Men don't play with toys. Okay? And then I also see, I've been clocking this for a long time, but sometimes it just keeps up in my head. Even when I'm watching women dress up their sons, posting on the gram with the lineup, why do six with a lineup, with a fresh lineup, with the white, the Tims? You're conditioning that child to recognize you got to show up as a man, even though you're only 5. I'm gonna need you to have that crisp lineup, them Tims on, and get your pose right. The conditioning right there. That as young boys, you're already born into a system that says you have to be a man. Okay, it says you have to be a man. All right. But there's so much unhealed trauma within Diddy's own unresolved issues that he's passing down. He's passing down fear, control. How you treat a woman is through fear and control. She's not even just a woman, as we saw. Okay. But some of these real life examples that I'm telling you about, they explore how Diddy's dynamics with his sons reflect these patterns, from their public appearances to personal interviews. I want to look at their relationship and how their relationship has evolved. Now, when it comes to them learning that power and money take you places, let's look at an example. What happened to that man who got shot in the elevator? Where he at? Okay. Some of his sons even have, well, primarily Justin and Christian, have cases going against them also. But have they been charged? Are we hearing about the cases? Have they been brought to a court? No, they haven't. No, they haven't. And that is showing them once again that I can get away with it. Passing down, I ain't got to take accountability because of money and power. And I wonder how many of you guys saw your own father take accountability for his actions, even one of your parents. That is something that I think people struggle with, is to hold accountability for themselves. And then with your kids, when you make a mistake, do you apologize? Or is it like, oh, well, they only like 11. They'll get over it. You're teaching your kids that their feelings do not matter by ignoring the fact that, oh, I did something wrong. I said something wrong. Let me reparent myself and parent my child the right way. But a lot of parents nowadays are not invested in their kids. I'm sorry to say it, y'all. A lot of parents are not invested. They're more invested in running the streets, being on the socials, being in people's comments. That being at that game, that basketball game, that tournament, what value does that have for me? Okay. Spending time with them. I'm tired. I'm busy. Yes, I understand you're tired and you're busy. But your child is going to remember those moments. And you're teaching your child that their feelings do not matter, that they don't matter. What really matters is that my parents' needs get met. And that's a form of conditioning. That what do you think is going to happen when they get older in their relationships? My partner's needs matter more than mine. Okay. My partner's needs matter more than mine. So when it comes to decision making, when it comes to showing up as a whole partner, I never learned how to have a voice because I was always told to stay in a child's place. I was always told a child is meant to be seen, not heard. So now I'm in a relationship with somebody and they're asking my opinions, my feelings, what do I think about things to show up. I don't know how I do that because I never learned it. Because there was no value in it. There was more value in me being conditioned to shut up and stay in a child's place until they needed me to be an adult and take on adult responsibilities. But the emotional aspects of childhood, a lot of families didn't have time for that. A lot of families didn't care about it. Because what was more important at times was we're in survival mode. Okay. But Diddy is not a family in survival mode. But it's the power of the money that he's teaching these kids. Okay. It's that he's teaching these kids. It's power and money is what really matters. Feelings? Who has time for feelings? Diddy is shaping his kids to look like him. And let's go into a little bit deeper. What does that look like? Putting his sons into his music, even if they had no interest. Having them dress like him. Look at the photos. Dance like him. Don't they say one son never got his mouth closed? Similar to is a Christian. Perform his old songs, recreate his image and persona on stage and on social media. Okay. But this father has not healed. And since he has not healed, the legacy becomes about control. And unhealed masculinity is dangerous. That toxic masculinity. Unhealed men raise their sons with these silent rules. Y'all ready for the rules? Don't show weakness. Don't cry. Don't question me. Don't slow down. Don't challenge my version of masculinity. And what does this create as a result? Sons who become hyper performers, emotionally disconnected, image focused, seeking approval, and afraid to develop their own identity. Do any of these kids, maybe Quincy, okay, but do any of the sons have their own identity outside of Diddy? When you look at Diddy and his sons, what do you see? A group of young men who are talented, yes, but also copies of him from their music, their interviews, all of that, the bravado. And ask yourself, based off of your own relationship with your father, are you a copy of him? And are you proud of that copy? That's something right there. Are you proud of a copy? Or because of the things that he did not heal from himself, are you now trying to heal yourself as an adult man with no guidance? With no guidance. Because a lot of the parenting you had from him was performative. Coming over for Father's Day, showing up like the good parent. But outside of that performative aspect, did you get what you really need? Okay. Did you get what you really need, or did you get what your parents thought you needed? And once again, going back to my former video, were you born into a system, a archetype of what you felt like your father already wanted for you? And then when you didn't meet in his mind what you were supposed to be, what did he do? Did he reject you? Did he still love you? Now, if you had siblings, did he go over to them siblings who met the goals he had in his mind and you felt left out? That's a deeper conversation. Parents who are raising kids, men, oh, he gonna play football just like me. He gonna play basketball just like me. This gonna be my mini me. I'm so happy to have a son to be just like me. But are you somebody that needs a copy? Are you a man who needs a copy? Hit this like, hit the like. Let me know if I'm preaching. Okay. When sons grow up with an unhealed father, they internalize some messages. What are those messages? Oh, I got them for you. Get out your pen and your paper. Okay. Love is earned through success. Feelings don't matter unless they fit the narrative. Ooh, feelings don't matter unless they fit the narrative. Whose narrative, too? Your daddy narrative. Okay. I need to be strong 24/7. I cannot disappoint him because if I do, what? Sit on that. Sit on that. Because if I do, what? Will he reject me? Will I be seen as less than? Am I doing too much right now? Is this hitting home a little bit too much? Okay. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. And this can become this can look like and show up later as relationship struggles, emotional avoidance, confusion about identity. And then you have the layer of some of y'all who how do I say this? That's PC. Some of y'all who are not straight and your daddy only wanted a straight boy. Okay. And the only reason why y'all not getting along, y'all don't have a relationship is because at the end of the day, you go home to a man and not a woman. That is another layer right there. You are a disappointment. You done everything. Outperform, go to college. But because I choose to sleep with somebody that my father's uncomfortable with, that has been the crust of why we don't communicate. Okay? Now that one's a hard one for a lot of y'all. Because you're constantly still trying to plead, please, beg to be seen by somebody who probably ain't worthy of seeing you. but there's that little child in you who still wants to be hugged by your father. But it's a hard one, y'all. It's a hard one. It also shows up as difficulty saying boundaries, people pleasing, people pleasing. Okay. Are replicating unhealthy patterns of other people. And I want you again to know that this is not unique to Diddy or his family or his sons. These are global generational patterns. Global patterns. And I'll probably do a separate video about the daughters. Okay, I think I'm gonna do that one separate. This is just for the men's. Okay. But Diddy's power and ability to get away with things, it probably started with his father. Unfortunately, his father passed away. Janice, him, and now the sons. Okay, and now the sons. And I wonder too, now all this has come out, what kind of opportunities did this whole thing take away from his sons? Especially Quincy. It's crazy because even look at this photo, y'all. Even look at this photo. Quincy is over there. Quincy is over there. And I wonder for him if he ever felt like he was treated the same. It's so interesting, just like how I Googled and his picture didn't come up. In this picture, look at the mama. They smiling. Christian is Diddy 2.0. And then you got Quincy over there. It's so telling. It's so telling. Was he ever treated the same? Okay. But I wonder for him who has not been involved in any of the bullshits, if this potentially has taken away opportunities for him to be his own man and be his own brand. Because we don't talk enough about how sometimes whatever your father's legacy is, that shit also gonna follow you. Living in his shadow, whether it's a good shadow or a bad shadow. Can it be a good shadow? I don't know if it could be a good shadow. Let me know in the comments. But this is legacy. Legacy, legacy, legacy. And what does it do for the opportunities I have for myself, the music I want to create? Quincy going into acting. I wonder, I really wonder about him. Because Christian seems like he is just okay with being 2.0. Okay. Now it is possible for you guys to break the cycle. But how do families do this? How do sons of powerful, unhealed fathers become themselves? How do you become yourself? Even if your daddy don't got money. Even if you're not in the limelight. How do you step out of the shadows? The pain? How do you step out of being raised by a narcissistic parent? It takes a lot. It takes a lot. Some people don't even realize they were raised by narc parents until they go into therapy. To me, it's always going to start with therapy. It starts with becoming more emotionally aware, setting boundaries, defining your own values. What do you value? And sometimes letting yourself question those family narratives. Even though you've been gaslit your whole life, it's okay to question those things that you were taught, that you were raised into. And I want you to know it's okay to create a separate identity. You don't have to continue to live in the shadows of your father, your uncles. you can be the one who separates yourself and creates change. And now, is it going to be tough? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you. It is going to be challenging. But sometimes the hardest step is admitting my father gave me a lot, but he left wounds I didn't deserve. And I deserve to heal from those wounds. Okay. Now, as we come to the end of this video, I want you to reflect on some things, figure out what's coming up for you. Diddy's sons are not just growing up with fame, they're growing up in a legacy shaped by a man with a lot of power, a lot of influence, and possibly a lot of unhealed pain. And when a father doesn't heal, his sons inherit the mask. Have you inherited the mask? My hope is that we all take this as a reminder. Parenting isn't just about providing opportunities, it's about providing emotional freedom. Emotional freedom. Now, if you found this breakdown insightful, make sure you hit that like, you comment, you subscribe. Let's talk in the comments. What patterns have you noticed in your family like this? And more importantly, how are you breaking some of these patterns? What does it look like? Okay. What do you need from you to give yourself the belief, the ability to see that I can become my own man? I don't have to keep wearing the mask. I am more than a provider. I am more than that. And who I am is enough. Even if other people don't see it, you got to believe it, baby. You got to believe that you are enough. Because if you keep seeking out the conditioning, if you keep seeking out the approval of outside entities, you're never going to heal that wound. Because all the things that benefited you from those, that you benefit from filling your cup up from outside people, places, and things, it'll always be your go-to. You have to learn to get that shit that you're seeking out from other people, from yourself, and know that you are enough. What's inside of me is enough. I can heal, I can overcome, and I don't have to be the idealized image that my father always wanted me to be. I can be my own person. Okay. Now I gave it to y'all today. I gave it to y'all. So please hit that like, subscribe to the channel, share this video, hype me up, cuz I'm gonna be right here for the next one. All right, I'm Denise Brady. Salute to y'all healing. Salute to y'all recognizing the man in me is not the man that's gonna take me to the next level. All right, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.